When somebody asks, what do you do for a living? How much does your answer define who you are? I used to think that being successful meant having a lot of money, a fancy car, or a nice job title. But that's all changed ever since I became a stay-at-home dad. I'm gonna recap my decision to become a stay-at-home dad, share with you some of the challenges that came with it, and lastly, share my new perspective on what it means to be successful that I've gained from this experience. In 2020, my wife and I moved from Houston to San Antonio because she was finishing her master's degree at UTSA. During this time, I eventually landed a position at a law firm working as a paralegal in immigration, a job that I enjoyed fairly a good bit. And meanwhile, my wife was finishing her master's. When she graduated, she actually had a really good career opportunity, and she ended up taking a job here, and we've been here ever since. Everything was fine. I had my job and she had hers. And 2023, we were surprised with the news that we were expecting our first daughter. Obviously, this came as a bit of a surprise to us, and it needed some adjustments on our end. We were both working, and we needed to decide who was gonna be the one that stayed at home, at least while the kid was a baby and before she could go to daycare. It didn't seem fair to me at the time to ask my wife, who had just finished her master's and worked really hard to land a position, to quit her job. At the end of the day, my position was always something that I saw as a bit of a stepping stone, so we decided that I was gonna be the one to stay home and take care of the baby. This initially came with some challenging feelings. I was a little bit admittedly ashamed that I was no longer gonna be the one making money and that I would be staying at home while my wife went out and worked. But those feelings changed when I realized that there was something else that I was gaining from this experience that I otherwise maybe would have never gotten. For anybody that anybody that's a parent or has kids can tell you that it's a full-time job. Especially watching toddlers and infants is very hands-on experience. On top of that, you still have to manage your personal responsibilities and your personal tasks, so it's a very daunting challenge. This was a period of personal growth for me, where I learned I practice patience, something that I am still working on every single day. I've learned new time management skills and problem-solving techniques. I'm forever grateful of the experience that I've had with my kids more than anything that I've learned. I used to think that being successful was just gonna mean the traditional sense, having a good job, making good money, and never having to worry about that. But now I realize that there's another element to success, and that's just being somebody that the people you care about can rely on. Today I pride myself on the fact that I'm able to be present for my daughters more than I could have ever been if I was still having a job, a full-time job. I've learned that you can't determine anybody's value by their job title or their career, but rather by how they impact the lives of those they love. So while I may not have a fancy laminated business card anymore or a skyscraper office overlooking the city, I do have memories of moments that I will never be able to get back. I'm forever grateful that I was able to be there for my daughter's first words, for her first steps, the first time she rode a bike, the first time she fell off her bike, and how lucky was I that I was able to be there to pick her up. I would never change these experiences for anything, and this ultimately was what transformed my perspective on what it means to be successful.